Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website, Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. So once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list, you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 31st May 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is given by here Rabindranath Tagore. So he says that it is very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. Okay. So he is mainly talking about simplicity. So it is very simple. Okay. It is very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. So I want to say one thing. Yesterday UPSC results had been released and the top 3 were women. So here I wish you very all the best for the students who are going to write this year prelims, and prelims it is very near, so please be focused. So now let us try to see first topic. It is regarding India's challenges. So as a UPSC aspirant, you have to know what are the challenges that we are facing. So this topic will be very important from your means and even from your interview point of view. So if you see title, it mainly says that doses of statecraft to meet India's challenges. So here this article which is mainly revolving around this statecraft, and this author, he is mainly trying to give the India's challenges and he is mainly quoting the importance of this statecraft. So first of all, you have to know what is the meaning of this statecraft. So statecraft means nothing but the skillful management of state affairs. So how we are managing our state affairs, that will mainly comes under this statecrafts. So author mainly says that it is clear that grand strategy, grand simplifications and higher measures of security, they are not the answers, but the answers to meet these challenges that we are facing in India, that is mainly through this statecraft. Through this statecraft, we can address our challenges. So what are the challenges that we are mainly facing? So author mainly gave some examples of Kashmir issue. He mainly talked about even Maoist issue, and he also talked about issues in this northeastern part of India, for example Ulfa, and he also tried to talk about NSCN, and he also talked about threat in the south, for example LTTA. So these are some important issues that we are facing, and he mainly said that your statecraft is very important to meet India's challenges. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you're talking about introduction, as you all know, in Europe there is a political turmoil is happening because of this Russia-Ukraine issue. So there is some issues regarding energy security and as well as food security. So we are going to discuss this Russia-Ukraine conflict. So what is the present status of this Russia and Ukraine conflict, that we are going to see in the fourth article, I guess. Okay, so now let's try to see this article. So because of this Russia and Ukraine issue, so now what happened, we are seeing there is a political turmoil. So actually this Ukraine, which is mainly supported by Western powers and even NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the political turmoils of this Russia-Ukraine issue, which is also seen in the South Asia. And in South Asia, mostly your newspaper headlines, they are dominated by this Russia-Ukraine crisis. So this has pushed the debate on India's many internal security problems. So because of this headlines which are mainly seen, and now we are mainly talking about this internal security issues that we are facing in India. So if we're talking about the first and fourth most thing, we have to know about limitation of the security vigilance. So here countries' security agencies, they are mainly focusing to maintain a tight vigilance that will seldom realize that the security agencies, they can only deal with the immediate threat. For example, if there is any immediate threat is happening, so for that our security forces, they will be focusing on tight vigilance. Unless and until whenever there is no threat, means there is no proper tight vigilance that is mainly seen. And if you're talking about the long-term solutions, so this tight vigilance, that is mainly the short-term solution. But what is this long-term solution? If you're talking about this long-term solution, we need to focus on this statecraft. We need to focus on this statecraft. So additional doses of security whenever a situation arises, they are at best a temporary solution. So whenever there is immediate threat is happening, so what are the steps which we are taking, that mainly comes under this temporary solution, but not the long-term permanent solution. So long-term permanent solution, that is mainly we need to use our proper statecraft. So in many countries, not only in India, but in many countries, both authorities and state security agencies, they are beginning to acknowledge the importance of resorting to this statecraft. Okay, so if you're talking about statecraft, which mainly includes fine-grained comprehension of inherent problems. So we need to identify the problems, and we need to have an ability to quickly respond to those political challenges as well. And not only this statecraft, which also includes even strengthening the ability to exploit opportunities that we are having, and we need to display a degree of political nimbleness. Okay, rather than leaving everything to security agencies, yes, here political thing, that is the state, also need to take some responsibilities. So if we're talking about some challenges, the first and the foremost thing here is we need to talk about Jammu and Kashmir issue. So while Jammu and Kashmir, it is in a troubled region, ever since 1947. So since we got independence, at that time of independence, especially in the post-independent India, you might have studied about integration of princely states. There were more than 550 princely states were there. So one important challenge before our newly formed nation, it is to integrate this princely state. So out of them, so we integrated a number of princely states very easily, but there are some princely states which mainly posing an important challenge for that government that is present at that time. For example, you can talk about Hyderabad, Junagadh, Jammu and Kashmir. So at this Jammu and Kashmir, we integrated finally into India through instrument of accession, which is mainly signed by Raja Hari Singh at that time. Right. So what happened since 1947 onwards is Jammu and Kashmir, it is in a troubled region. And what happened now, we are seeing extreme violence, which is mainly followed by the spells of neo-monarchy in this region. And till now, there is no proper long-standing solution for this problem of this Jammu and Kashmir. And now we are seeing there is ongoing violence in this Jammu and Kashmir, which mainly started almost 18 to 20 months ago. So in this violence, we are mainly seeing because of revocation of this Article 370 of Indian Constitution, which mainly talks about special category status. And what happened now, here locals, they are mainly being supported able for current crop of Jammu and Kashmir militants. So what happened now, so because of this revocation of this Article 370 on August 5th, 6th, 2019, so because of this revocation of this article or dilution of this article, that is special category status of Jammu and Kashmir, now we are seeing there is a severe violence that is mainly seen in this region. And majority of these local peoples, they believe that it is mainly home to grown militants, okay, though they are mainly backed by the elements from across the borders in the Pakistan. Okay, and if you are talking about in this region, so especially we are seeing targeted killings, and we are seeing violence in this Jammu and Kashmir. So mainly the violence which is mainly seen against this Kashmiri Pandits. So after revocation of this Article 370 of Indian Constitution, so this migrant Kashmiri Pandits, they are returning to this Jammu and Kashmir because they are mainly expecting some certain concessions, for example government jobs, etc. So the migrants, they have acted as provocation. So but what is equally disturbing here is targeted killings. It is not only seen against this Kashmiri Pandits, but even targeted killings of this police personnel as well. So there is information filtering and information that is mainly reaching to these terrorist groups, and they are mainly going for killing of this police personnel in this Jammu and Kashmir. So here we mainly came up with a persuasion of one doctrine, that is Doctrine of Containment. So this Doctrine of Containment, which mainly pursued by the Jammu and Kashmir police and security agencies, it is not having any desired effect. So the security analysts, they mainly believe that sizable segment of the new cadres, they mainly fall into what they perceive as unpredictable. Okay, that is mainly getting aggravated the situation day by day in this Jammu and Kashmir. And now Jammu and Kashmir today, it is mainly need statecraft. So statecraft is very important, and it can alone walk in step with the changing contours of long-standing problems in this region. So this is about the first internal security problem. And next one here, it is about Maoist. So here, to understand this Maoist, these Maoists and as well as Naxalites, they mainly follow strong ideology. Okay, they mainly follow strong ideology, and you have to know about Red Corridor in India. So this Red Corridor, it is mainly Naxalite affected area, and you have to know recent examples of Naxalite attacks as well in Chhattisgarh region. So this will become handy whenever you're writing any answer, or it will be helpful for your interview as well. So Maoists or Naxalites, they nevertheless, they tend to indulge in the mindless violence, carrying out brutal killings. So they will be never involving in this mindless violence, carrying brutal killings. But these original Maoists in Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala, they mainly inspired by Charu Majumdar's ideology. Or Charu Majumdar, he mainly talked of a spring thunder over India. So the combination of ideological ideation and brutal killings, it has often confused and confounded the police, intelligence and as well security establishment of the states and the center. Okay, so here we can see the combination of ideology and as well as brutal killings or violence. So because of this combination of ideology and killings, it mainly confused and it also confounded the police, intelligence and as well as security establishment of states and as well as center. So more than any other militant or violent movement in the country, so we are mainly focusing on curbing of this Maoist menace. So in this context here, statecraft is very important. And next important challenge here is, for example, if you are talking about Punjab, you can talk about pro-Khalistan groups. In Northeast, you can talk about Ulfa, you can talk about NSCN. Okay, so if you're talking about first Punjab, so there is a need to use statecraft to deal with quite a few other internal security problems. For example, you can talk about resurgence of a militancy by these pro-Khalistan groups in Punjab, and that could also spill over into Haryana and as well as Himachal Pradesh even. And recently in Punjab, we came up with recent discovery of sleeper cells in Punjab. So because of this, it clearly indicates the potential for the revival of this pro-Khalistan movement that is going to be happen. So because of this, here we need a statecraft. And apart from that, if you're focusing on this northeastern region, especially in states like Assam and as well as Nagaland, so here we are seeing some signs of trouble, okay, which are mainly present. For example, in Assam, we have this ULFA, that is United Liberation Front of Assam. So it is independent, which is mainly trying to revive the activities after a long spell of hibernation. So hibernation is nothing but winter sleep. So hibernation, aviation that you can see in this environment and ecology, it is called as summer split sleep and as well as winter sleep. So after long time, so there were no activities which is mainly done by ULFA, and now in Assam we are seeing there will be revival of these activities after hibernation by this ULFA one. And currently this ULFA, which mainly operates from Myanmar, and its fortunes have been steady decline in the past decade. So however, there are some latest reports, intelligence reports, which mainly says that ULFA has embarked on recruitment drive. It is mainly focusing on recruitment drive. So because of this, we can see in future we are going to have some attacks from this ULFA. And if you are seeing in Nagaland, we have this NSC, National Socialistic Council of Nagaland. So they are mainly demanding for Greater Nagaland, and as well as they want their own constitution. So now here NSCN, which is also in a pregnant, okay, that means they are mainly coming up with some changes in their NSCN, and we are mainly going to have some serious possibilities in our near future. So in these situations, we can use the statecraft so that situation does not go out of hand. And if you are talking about threat in South, especially in the South, we are mainly seeing some threat from this LTT, that is Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, which mainly sponsor activities in this Tamil Nadu region. So this mainly stems from a possible revival of this LTTE sponsored militancy in Sri Lanka, which is mainly following the recent economic crisis and as well as uncertainty. So this situation again needs deft statecraft as well. So here, if you're talking about conclusion, what author tries to say. So here author says that here in this critical situation, so statecraft is very critical or very important in finding some long lasting solution to host problems that continue to afflict in India. So India mainly faces several challenges today. So but the answer to this neither grand strategy or nor grand simplification, but we need to focus on simple statecraft such that we can go for fighting against these challenges. Okay, so we need proper policy structure with set of policies, and we need a liberal dose of statecraft. Here they are very important for the proper set of security measures that India needs now and also in its future. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic is regarding education. So this article just mainly focused on whatever the data that we collected and how it is engaged with the poor parents. So this article is important from your education point of view, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. So actually I selected this article because many students, they are asking me how to write an essay. So if you see this article and if you try to understand how author approached the topic, then you can easily understand the way to write essays. So actually if you are reading this editorials, means that will be very helpful to understand how to write your essays. So for that you have to read these essays. So first, here author mainly started essay with anecdote. She asked some questions, and later on she presented one case study of Rajasthan, and later on she went into the topic, and finally she gave objectives and as well as about conclusion. So what can be done, that is way forward. So this article is very nice, and you can read this article in the newspaper for sure to understand how to write an essay. So if you see the introduction, she mainly said that when children of poor cannot read and write, when they do not play and dance in school, can poor speak and demand change? Yes, whenever there is no access for the education for this poor, for example to read, to write, to play, to dance, then how can these poor people speak and they demand change in the society? So actually she says that whenever we are gathering data, so we are gathering data regarding how many enrollments, retention rate, learning infrastructure and teacher training, etc. By collecting this data, we can understand the state of public school system. But is this data which is enough for the transformative change or not? So this is a question which mainly posed by author. So if you're talking about one case study she gave about one case study in Rajasthan. So this case study says that media writings in recent years, they have variously highlighted the marked fall of improvement in learning outcomes, and depending on the data set being referred to the annual status of education report, that is ASER report. And even we mainly collect the data regarding education under this NAS, that is National Achievement Survey, and even NCERT. So recent data which is mainly released by this ASER 2019 report, which mainly says that Rajasthan was among the bottom 5 states in the learning levels. And here NAS 2017 report which mainly says that Rajasthan, it is among the top performers. So because of this now debate which is mainly going on, so much like this public report on basic education in India of 1999, which mainly highlighted the very poor state of government infrastructure, and it is also focused on the shocking the education community in the India as well. So if you're talking about the data on school education which is mainly collected to measure and to monitor the fixed flaws and to reward achievements at the states, at the national and as well as at the state level. So here this data, who will be using this data? That is school administrators, government agencies, researchers and civil society activists. They will be using this data, but not by the poor parents. So if we're talking about the vision, so to inspire transformation, to mainly come up with some change, so data has to be linked with a vision of school education, and it is mainly going to address the anxieties and aspirations of parents, okay, at the actionable at a level of governance closest to them, and as well as at the local and as well as political system. So whenever we are mainly inspiring transformation, so whatever the data which we are having, that need to be linked with the vision of the school education, and it need to address the anxieties and aspirations of parents as well. So at the national level policy, it is just one form of inspiring education system that we have, but we do not have at the different levels like state level, district level and as well as at the local levels. And if you are talking about the vision will manifest itself differently at the national stage, national level, state level, district level, as well as local level, and exist in both policy and as well as non-policy forms as well. For example, if you're talking about panchayat schools, they are mainly focusing on learning and as well as personality development. Okay, so here the panchayat schools are mainly focusing on personality development and as well as migrant children. And if you're talking about NGOs, non-government organizational programs, they are mainly focusing on strengthening of teacher capacity for multilingual classrooms. And if you see presently, if you're talking about the vision of education below the national level, so least of all those will engage the marginalized people. So at the district level and at the school development plans, they are mainly introduced in the national level programs. For example, you can talk about district primary education program, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, etc. And they were not representatives of parent school consensus on what schooling means. And if you're talking about this community-based consultative bodies, for example, they are mainly focusing on school management committees and as well as parent-teacher committees, etc. But these platforms, they do not facilitate this. And if you're talking about what is the way forward or what is the right data, so it is only the data which is mainly connected with the locally developed and as well as potentially owned vision of schools, education, etc. And if you're talking about social welfare, it is about people, and people participation is very, very important. Okay, that will be also helpful for the energetic reforms in this. So this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. Title says of lungs, trees and sin stocks. So this article which is mainly talking about tobacco consumption, and this article which is mainly giving a huge amount of data regarding tobacco consumption. So especially you have to see which states are going for largest tobacco production, and if you are from that state, there is no choice, you have to pay for this data for sure. So this will be important from your interview point of view, and even this topic is very important from your means. So now let us try to understand this data and as well as this article from our UPSC point of view. So if you're talking about recent survey, that is second global adult tobacco survey, and this estimates of this survey which mainly says that 28.6% of all adults in India, they use this tobacco. It is according to data of 2016 to 2017. Okay, and if you're talking about tobacco consumers in India, so India ranks second and first is China. So first is China, second is India. So this survey which mainly says that about 42.4% of men and women, they are also taking tobacco. That is 14.2% of women. Okay, 42.4% of men and 14.2% of women, they are taking this tobacco. So tobacco is taken in the both forms, that is in a smoking form and as well as in non-smoked form. So if you are talking about smoking form, you can see BDs, cigarettes, they are mainly smoked. And if you are talking about non-smoking form, for example, you can talk about chewing of tobacco, which is mainly seen in women. Okay, so in smoked form and in non-smoked form, we can see there is a tobacco consumption both men and as well as women. So in 1987, so even WHO, that is World Health Organization, which mainly marked World No Tobacco Day. So here this May 31st, it is World's No Tobacco Day. So here this year theme is poisoning our planet, and it is mainly focusing on highlighting of ill effects of tobacco on environment. So if we're talking about taking of tobacco, it is not only harming our health, but even it is harming our environment also. So in 2021, smoking killed about 8 million people. But tobacco is not just a bane on human health, but even it is having some impact on our environment. So according to WHO, about 600 million trees, they were chopped down annually to make cigarettes. To make cigarettes, we are mainly using some other leaves, not only tobacco. Tobacco, it is mainly keep in inside. For example, if you see, this is a leaf and these leaves will be dried, and what happened, they will be rolled, and in this rolled leaf we can see tobacco, which is mainly seen. So to making of these tobaccos, we need to use leaves. So these leaves we are getting from plants, right? So there are about 600 million trees, they will be chopped off annually to make cigarettes, and about 84 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions, they are released into atmosphere, and 22 billion liters of water, they will be used to make cigarettes. So in addition here, if you're talking about environmental cost, we are having environmental cost of production. So cigarette butts and packaging, plastic pouches, and even smokeless tobacco, electronics and batteries, they are associated with these e-cigarettes. They will also pollute our environment. And India is the second largest producer of tobacco, which mainly produce about 800 million kgs of tobacco annually. And the most efforts to counter this tobacco epidemic have been directed at creating awareness campaigns. Okay, so we mainly came with creating of awareness among the people regarding what will be the ill effects of tobacco. But if you see, over 90% of adults in India across the strata, they identify tobacco as being harmful. So additional gains in overcoming these ill effects of tobacco, they are therefore unlikely to come from more awareness campaigns alone. So here what happened, there are several campaigns, they are also dealing with alternate livelihood for the people who involved in this tobacco, that is tobacco farmers and even people who are mainly making this tobacco. So about 6 million farmers and 20 million of farm laborers, they work in this tobacco farming across 15 states in India. So although farming of this tobacco is only contributes to just 1% of our GDP as per study, so we are having direct health expenditure that is mainly seen regarding this tobacco related deaths or diseases. It is about 5.3% of total health spending in India in a year. So it is mainly because of usage of this tobacco. So despite of this, farming of tobacco cannot be stopped without the serious economic consequences, or we can say like social disruption. So we are having some market based solutions. So we can focus on this. We can focus on reduction of this deforestation as well. So as you all know, here number of number of new commitments that we came up in this environment, that is new commitments to zero carbon, that is carbon neutrality by 2070. It is target of India. And not only this, there are number of companies, number of commodity sectors, they are also facing some pressure regarding the supply chain to transition to sustainable practices to reduce this deforestation. And if you're talking about some mega companies like Unilever, Amazon, Nestle, Alibaba and Mahindra Group, they are mainly pledging to cut emissions and poised to invest about $500 billion in nature-based solutions as well. And many cigarette companies themselves are appearing to be changing. In 2016, one of the largest cigarette company pledged to begin transitioning its consumers away from tobacco to smoke-free products as well. And 2019, there is one report which mainly said that spending of 98% of the research in this research and development, that will be helpful to reach our goal. So what is the way forward here? So we're talking about way forward. So here we need to educate potential consumers to not to consume tobacco, and we need to support consumers in their journey to quit this tobacco use, and we need to incentivize the industry to help the consumers and the planet. That will support, that will protect not just our lungs but also even whatever the air that we are breathing. So this is about this topic. And now let's try to see next topic. So this is about the status of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So this is our Russia part, this is our Ukraine part. Here we have Black Sea, and this part, okay, let me change the pen. So this part, it is our Crimea, which already occupied by Russia. Okay, and here you can see these are some areas which are under control of Russia now. So here you can see Kyiv region, you can see Mariupol region, so it is mainly recently occupied, and you can see Kherson region. So these are some areas which are mainly occupied by Russia, and here you can see some blue spots. So these are the areas in which we can see there is the highest amount of resistance that is mainly seen from this Ukraine against this Russia. So if we're talking about context here, so it is now 3 months. So on February 24th, here Russia started attacking Ukraine. So 3 months after Russia, which mainly started invasion of Ukraine, its troops are making slow. But steady advances in this eastern Donbas region. Yes, they are facing good resistance from this Ukraine. So I can salute this Ukraine forces, because even though they are having less number of forces, so whatever the resistance they are mainly showing, it is a well done. So this is a thing which mainly well done by Ukraine. So 3 months after Russia started invasion of Ukraine, so the troops are making slow but steady advance in the eastern Donbas region. Okay, so Russia has faced stiff resistance from this Ukrainian troops from day one onwards. They are facing severe resistance, and the crisis which has snowballed over larger security contest between this Moscow and as well as the western regions. So now there is no peace talks. So with no peace talks in this region, okay, and what happened, war is likely to grind on many more weeks, okay, it's not, if not months. So if we're talking about details, Russia started attacking Ukraine on 24th February and now it is almost completed 3 months. So the troops, they mainly moved in from this Belarusian border, okay. So from Belarus, from the north they entered, and even south they have Crimean Peninsula they entered, and even the east in this Donbas region they mainly attacked this Ukraine. So while announcing this special military operation, so President of Russia said that demilitarization and denazification, they are the two important goals of this Russia. So while its forces, they mainly made gains in the east and south, so they mainly faced some stiff resistance from these Ukrainian forces in the north and as well as in the northeast. And finally, they mainly came with advancements or advances slowed down. That is, Russia pulled back troops from this Kiev region, and later on it mainly occupied this Kharkiv region, and later on they mainly focused on this Kherson region as well. So from the south, Russian troops, they have moved towards the quick outskirts of this Zaporizhia. So here we have one nuclear plant, that is the biggest nuclear plant that is present. Okay, so in this eastern Donbas region, so here Russians, they have taken almost all major cities, and they took Mariupol and as well as Sea of Azov port as well, and they took also Lyman in this Luhansk region, so which made last week while advancing towards this Severodonetsk. So it is the easternmost city of this Ukraine's hand. So we're talking about what are the impacts of this sanctions are mainly imposed on this Russia. Yes, number of Western countries, USA, they impose sanctions on this Russia, and now let us try to understand what is the impact of the sanctions on this Russia's economy. So whether they have some impact or not, whether it is mainly linked to gain of this Russia or not, we are going to see that. So Russia's economy, which is mainly expected to contract this year because of sanctions are mainly imposed by some Western countries. But what happened, sanctions and their impact on this economy, it is very unlikely to influence this region, okay, this Russia. So whatever the sanctions are mainly imposed, that is having very unlike influence on this in this Russia because of several reasons. So first and the foremost thing here is, so because of this Russian-Ukraine conflict, there is increasing of price of oil in the market. So because of this, as a largest supplier of this oil, so it is mainly benefiting from this, and it does not face much immediate threat to the grip on power in the Russia. And next one is, despite of the sanctions, Russian economy did not face any intermittent collapse as well. So what happened now, if you're talking about the rupee or the money of this Russia, it is ruble, that you all know, right? So this ruble, it is one of the best currencies in this year. So Europe, which mainly remains dependent on this Russian gas, which is mainly close to 40% of this Russian requirements that are mainly coming from this Russia itself. Okay, so this European countries demands of this 40% of gas that they are getting from this Russia, and because of this Russia-Ukraine conflict and sanctions, they want to decrease this gas imports from this Russia, and they want to go for buying with other countries like Qatar and Libya. But what happened, so those steps are mainly taken to bring oil from this Qatar and Libya, they are not being much successful. Also, Russia blockade of Ukraine seaports, it is also threatening the food prices in this other European countries. So because of this, now here we can see like European countries, they are going to reach out this Mr. Putin to seek some solution for this situation. So moreover, the countries which are mainly outside of this Western alliances, they have not joined the sanctions. Okay, which means Russia is not as isolated internationally as West claims. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let's try to see next topic. It is regarding coal. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under science and technology, and even from your GS paper 1 under geography. So if you see context, it mainly says that in April, our finance minister, she mainly said that India's transition away from coal, it is a fuel for power. Okay, it is mainly used as a fuel for power. It would be hampered by this Russia-Ukraine war. So because of this Russia-Ukraine war, so we are also going to see some impact on the energy of India as well. So we are mainly focusing to lower the dependence on the coal, and we need to speed up. Okay, we need to speed up which we want to get out of it. So this is the thing which mainly said by author. So if you're talking about some details, it mainly says that, so because of this global warming of planet, so here we need to go for promising to bring out unprecedented natural calamities. So an effective way to keep the danger at bay, it is to cut the issue of fossil fuels and as well as the coal, natural gas, and as well as oil. So now we are mainly facing one important challenge, that is global warming, that is increasing of global temperature. So when we are using this fossil fuels like coal, gas, and as well as oil, so that will be further increase the releasing of this greenhouse gases into atmosphere. Further it leads to increasing of global warming, and about 80% of this world's energy requirements, they are mainly met by these three fuels, that is coal, natural gas, and oil. So they have likely brought on the climate crisis and as we now face. So if you see however the worst culprit of them is coal. Okay, and it mainly emits nearly twice as much as carbon dioxide and natural gas, and about 60% of more than oil when we are comparing with that of coal here. So if you are mainly moving towards this partial band carbon particles, they may leads to releasing of some particulate matter into air, that will lead to respiratory distress as well. And the consequences of these chemical reactions get significance because the power sector in India, which mainly accounts for 49% of total carbon dioxide emissions, and compared with the global average of 41%. So if you're talking about what extent we are mainly dependent on the coal, so this topic is very important, or this subtopic is important from your mains point of view. So as of February 2022, so what is the installed capacity? The installed capacity of coal-based power generation across the country here is 2.04 lakh megawatts. So this accounts for about 51.5% of power that we have produced. Okay, and if you see, this mainly compares about 25,000 megawatts of capacity, which is mainly based on natural gas as fuel. And if you're talking about the coal consumption in India, which had been increased at an average rate of 3.9 to 1.18 billion tons in 2024. So how has war made India's move away from this coal difficult? So if you're talking about why we are facing very much difficult situation to move out of this coal. So natural gas has been dubbed as a transition fuel in India's plan to move away from coal. So whenever we want to move away from coal, we need to have one alternative. So we decided that alternative will be natural gas, and the cost of this natural gas, it is very much high because of this recent past issues that are mainly happening in this Russia and Ukraine. So while renewable energy sources, they are cheaper than coal, so the ability to generate this power consistency, it is very difficult from this renewable energy because they are mainly depend upon the nature. For example, wind energy, solar energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy, etc. So coal can also give you power on demand, that is regarding storage technologies are still not mature enough to help the renewable energy sources and even become reliable in generators of power. So regarding these things, so we need to have some more important power. So if you're talking about next article, it is talking about monkeypox. Monkeypox won't return into pandemics. This is the thing which mainly said by WHO. So this article is important from your health and even science and technology. So now let us try to see context. It mainly says that here the World Health Organization, that is WHO, which mainly said that monkeypox expert. So one monkeypox expert, she mainly said that she doesn't expect the hundreds of cases. Okay, till now there are not much cases which are mainly recorded in this monkeypox. So it is not going to turn as another pandemic. So but here we acknowledge that there are still many unknowns about the disease, okay, including how exactly it is mainly spreading and whether the suspension of this mass smallpox immunization, so it is mainly going to work or not. So if we're talking about details, it mainly says that. So one interesting fact I want to discuss here is, so your WHO chief, he mainly says that, so in the most of the cases of this monkeypox, they were reported in gays, bisexual, or men who have sex with men. So in these people, so we can see there is a highly transmission of this monkeypox which is mainly seen. So it is very, very important to describe this because it appears to be an increase in the mode of transmission as well. Okay, so if you are talking about some facts regarding this monkeypox, I think you can see the image that you can see on the screen, right? So if you are talking about the symptoms, monkeypox, it is having a milder than smallpox, but it can be a fatal symptoms. It will be having a fatal symptoms, and the incubation period is 14 to 21 days. And some of the symptoms include fever, body ache, skin rashes, muscle ache, and as well as swollen lymph nodes, and as well as headache. So why it is called as monkeypox? Because it was first discovered in laboratory in monkeys in 1958. So from that time it is mainly called as monkeypox, and it was first reported in this DRC, that is Democratic Republic of Congo. And here it is a very rare virus that will be transmitted from animals towards these humans, especially through monkeys. And if you're talking about whether it is contagious or not, yes, it is contagious. So human to human transmission is also very much possible, but it is very limited, and it can also happen from the close contacts with this respiratory tract infections as well. And now let's try to see today's question. The first one is regarding governor. So under the constitution, a person shall be disqualified on being chosen as or for being a member of legislative assembly or legislative council regarding office of profit under the union or state government if the governor who disqualifies a member has become the subject to the above disqualification. Consider the following statements. So correct option will be governor can disqualify the members of any other he obtains the opinion of Election Commission of India. And next question is regarding 10th schedule. It mainly talks about anti-defection law. So who will be deciding the authority? That will be either speaker or chairman. Speaker in Lok Sabha and chairman in Rajya Sabha. And today's questions are these. The first one is regarding minister and second one is regarding money bill. So please try to read the statements and give me the correct option in the comment box. So here I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this foundational course through this pen drive course. So we are providing more than 600 hours of classes, and each and every class, it is a very detailed class. We are mainly focusing on conceptual clarity. So apart from that, we also came up with this mains answer writing practice. Yes, prelims, it is very near. So once this prelims is done, here you can join this course, and registration already had been opened for this mains answer writing practice for this June batch. And students who are not having much confidence regarding clearing of prelims, already if you gave the prelims, after once you gave the prelims, if you have no confidence regarding clearing of prelims, also you can join this course. So this will be very useful. You are going to cover both prelims and mains simultaneously if you are joining this mains answer writing course. So this course is very useful, and we are mainly giving one daily question, okay, based on the syllabus. So once prelims is done, I will be coming with a detailed video of this course, so how it will be helpful and how you can improve your answer writing skills. Okay, so these are the courses that we are providing. So please try to join these courses, and if you want to get the separate courses of only geography, only history, economy, like that, you can also take the separate courses that you can see in our website, Rathod Science Academy. So please visit our website, Rathod Science Academy. There you can register with your email ID, and finally you can see the courses that we are giving, and you can see the demo videos as well. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper without wasting any time. Already I am reaching my time limit. So this is our today's Hindu PDF. This is May 31st, and this is Delhi edition. So first topic, it is like regarding UPSC results, that is Women Top Civil Service Examination, that is Shruti Sharma first, Ankita Agarwal second, and Gamini Singla, she is third. Actually these students, they cleared this UPSC Civil Service. These three toppers, they didn't clear in their first attempt, they mainly cleared in second and third attempts. Okay, so actually total of 685 candidates including 177 women, they were mainly selected, and they were recommended by this Commission for Appointment to this Indian Administrative Service, that is IAS, IFS, and as well as IPS, and some central services as well. So now let us try to see next topic is regarding ED. So it is ED means nothing but like Enforcement Directorate. So title says here, ED arrest Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain. So here you need to know what is the ED and what is the mandate of ED, and you have to know about corruption, or we can talk about money laundering as well. So now let us move forward. Here there is nothing much important, and directly we can move to our editorial page today. So I discussed regarding this India's challenges, I discussed regarding this education and a poor parent, I discussed regarding this tobacco consumption, and there is one data point which mainly talked about education. Okay, so this is the data regarding National Achievement Survey, NAS. Okay, so data point which mainly says that not up to mark, which mainly published on Monday. So this is the data which mainly showed that Indian school students in this National Achievement Survey examination, they dropped significantly across the classes due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so it is talking about no gender divide, urban-rural divide is there, and how education which is mainly changing with this marginalized sections of society, etc. And in this text and context, I discussed regarding this Russia's invasion, I discussed regarding this topic, that is coal. And if you are interested, you can read this anti-corruption law, but actually it is not much important. And if you move forward, you can see there is one article regarding this NSCN. Okay, so it is very important. Okay, so they are mainly focusing on Nagaland, that is Greater Nagaland, and even Constitution. They are demands for this Naga people. And if you move forward, here you can see Modi releases PM CARES benefits for COVID orphans. So this article which is mainly talking about this PM CARES schemes. It is mainly talking about providing some assistance for the children who lost their parents, guardians due to this COVID-19. And here you can see 3 UPSC women toppers who won with persistence. So they say that all 3 didn't make it in their first attempt of the examination, but they need to focus on the persistence. So perseverance is very, very important, and discipline is also very important, that you are going to learn in this UPSC preparation. And if you move over here, you can see Russia's Gazprom cutting Dutch gas supplies. So now here Russia's Gazprom will halt the gas supplies to this Netherlands. And next article, it is regarding 10 Pacific Island nations, they reject Chinese Security Pact. Already we discussed about this Security Pact in our earlier lecture, so please refer that thing. And I discussed regarding this monkeypox article. And here you can see government set to advance bank privatization. So here you need to know about what is the privatization of banks and what will be the advantage and what are the disadvantages. So this is your homework, people. So please don't forget about this. And next topic here is inflation may slow to 7%. It is according to SBI report. So what are the steps which are mainly taken by the government and as well as RBI? They are mainly going to decrease this inflation. So this is the thing which mainly said by this SBI report. So these are some important articles that appeared in this today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod Science Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos, and try to join this mains answer writing practice course and as well as foundational course or individual courses that is available on our Rathod IAS Academy platform. So this will be very, very useful. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much. Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website Rathod Science Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. You have to give your name, email ID, your mobile number and password, and finally you can click on this register button. And once your details are filled, then registration will be successful, and click on OK and come back and click again on login and register, and you have to log in now. So after once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list, and in this course list you can see wide range of courses. So you can see Indian Society, CSAT, Ethics, International Relations, Essay, and if you buy all the courses, then we will be giving access to all these courses like history, economy, geography, and this is our mains answer writing course. There you can see different batches are there, and this is our prelims test series. If you want to watch demo videos, you have to click on play course, and in history we will be having 5 modules. So there, if you want to see demo videos in that so and so part of history, you can click on that play course. And before payment you can see only 3 demo videos, and after payment you can see all those videos will be displayed on the screen. You will
Hello
be
students,
having
welcome to
settings
Rathod
regarding
IAS.
quality and
My name is
also
Rajesh.
speed.
I'm your
You can
history
adjust
faculty.
according to
Today
your
in the part of
requirement.
the world history lectures, the most
This is
important
about
topic in the
history.
world history of the UPSC CSA
And
exam, that is the French
next,
Revolution.
let us try to see other subject, international relations. Click on play course, and the same thing that will follows. Before payment 3 demo videos, after payment every video will be displayed on screen, and you can click on the play button, then full screen, and then settings. So this will be follows to all
Hello
the
all,
courses.
welcome to the lecture. A very important topic we are going to cover up in today's lecture, that is Indo-Pacific. Every day in newspaper we are hearing this word Indo-Pacific region and the importance.
This is regarding polity, and the faculty is Shashwat Raghav ma'am.
Hello and welcome everyone to Rathod IAS. This is Shashwat Raghav, your polity faculty on this platform. We'll be basically covering our GS paper 2, and we very well know in GS paper 2 we have governance, constitution, polity along with social justice and IR. By me, your constitution, polity and governance subjects will be covered. In UPSC side for GS paper 2, only the subjects have been mentioned, the governance, constitution, polity, but faculties
This is about economy. So economy is taught by Sarvan sir. So these are some demo videos you can watch like this. And economy
Welcome
is
to
like
Rathod
112 hours of course.
Friends, from this class onward. Hi friends, my name is Sarvan Kumar. I am your economy faculty. Welcome to Rathod's IAS. Friends, in this class, we are going to study about the gross value added. What is the meaning of this gross value added? Now, under this, we have 3 heads: basic price, right, factor,
And next is science and technology. You can click on the video and you can click on play button and full screen.
Welcome to Rathod IAS. To the DNA, that kind of bank is called as DNA data bank. So you need to create a DNA data bank at a national level, okay, where the information of all the criminals, okay, all the suspects.
So these are the number of courses that you can watch the demo videos, and after once you watch the demo videos and after once you satisfied, so click on the buy now button, and after that you need to enter some details. Later on you can click on proceed, and you can give your mobile number and also email ID, and finally you can use this Razor Pay payment system for the purchasing of these courses.